Hello, hello, hello. You know, when we were young, we kind of had these magic words, like when we asked something from our parents, we say, please give me this. And then parents would say, what do you say? And we'd say, pretty please, or pretty please, and magic peanut butter, or I forget what it was. But anyway, we had these magic words, right? And I still feel like in 2025, we have some of these magic words. And one of them in particular is the word anxiety. I mean, like whenever we say this word anxiety, we're not allowed to or we're not supposed to provide any kind of pushback or anything, because it's off limits. And the first time I heard about someone providing pushback on this was when I was on a podcast actually, and it was a former UFC fighter talking about a current UFC fighter and how he gets really bad panic attacks or anxiety to the point where it was really affecting his performance inside the octagon, or to the point where he had to call the fights off. He was just getting so bad. And this podcaster was like giving pushback, and the first time I'd ever seen it, and this was a few years ago, and he was like, "Dude, when it comes to time to go to work to make money, whatever's going on inside your head, you got to put that aside, or maybe you're in the wrong line of work." He just put it that blunt, and it really resonated with me. And often in life, we will just chalk it up to someone being quirky, like, oh, they have some quirks, they're quirky, and w there's no real kind of pushback that we're supposed to be allowed to provide. And I mean, like, I have several people in my life who have some serious quirks. And I mean, like, I'm not off limits. I'll get to that later. But I have like one friend who refuses to work at his company's, sorry, refuses to eat at his company's cafeteria because he worries about if it's hygienic, or I don't know, it's just total an anxiety thing, a mental thing. But when it comes to restaurants, he's totally okay. He's totally fine. And I just, it's just one of those quirks. I know someone else who struggles with anxiety, and it got so bad to the point that once when they were getting ready for school, they got their zipper stuck in their jacket or something, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to get it off in time. I'm going to miss my bus." And anxiety started to come, and they end up just staying home all day, missing the whole day of school, even though they had got their zipper on stuck and still could have went to school. And I have another friend who, when she leaves her apartment, if she hears her neighbor next door getting into the elevator at the same time with them, like they hear their door opening, going towards the elevator, they will on purpose go out of their way to delay leaving their place so that she won't get into the elevator at the same time as them, because she doesn't want to deal with any kind of awkwardness or anything. You know what I mean? And and I mean, like, we're not talking about swimming with sharks here. We're talking like they're minor issues, but yet we allow these minor things to control us, to dictate us, and sometimes on a daily basis. And there's more than just one. And in my opinion, if you look of like a pie chart, we may look at these quirks as like, okay, this little slice of the pie, I will allow it to live rent free in my head, to take up space. But, it's accumulative. You know, After a while, when you have so many small slivers of that pie taking up space in your head, soon they no longer become small slivers, and you have big piece of whatever anxiety related whatever's taking up spaces in your head, and you start to really develop poor mental health. And remember that story that I told you about my friend getting her zipper stuck? She's only 14 years old. So imagine how anxiety will even more take control of her life. And then she's in her 20s, 30s, and 40s. If she doesn't nip this in the bud and take care of it, because already it's starting to greatly control her life, and she's only halfway through her teen years. And again, I'm not saying like I don't have any anxiety issues either. I mean, like, I don't think I have many because thinking this video really was searching my data banks, and I don't think I really have any, but I can remember when I have struggled with anxiety before, and I'll share it with you right now. It was at a job I used to work at, and for a few weeks, every Friday morning, my boss and I's schedule lined up, so we were always getting into the elevator at the same time, you know. And for a few weeks, you know, like physically, our trajectory was going like towards the same elevator at the same time. Well, there's actually just one elevator, and we were going towards it. And I don't know why it was giving me anxiety, but you know, there's some kind of awkwardness, I guess, with getting to a small elevator with your boss. And in particular, I remember one Friday morning, it was the last Friday morning that our paths had actually crossed because our schedules ended up changing. And I saw him going this way and I was going this way. And I was like, oh crap, okay, I got 60 seconds. What am I gonna do? You know, am I gonna go take the stairs? Am I gonna take the elevator? And I remember doing all this mental gymnastics inside my head within just the span of a few seconds. And I was like, okay, I'll just take the stairs, you know, just blow this off. And then I got thinking, nope, this is a small sliver of the pie living rent free inside my head. And I remember like being decisive and making the decisions like, no, I'm going to take the elevator. And I did. I got into the elevator within, you know, within 30 seconds, it was all over. And I remember having such a sense of, I don't know the right word, like fulfillment or feeling of being victorious, but it's just like, huh, I did it, you know, that, as far as today, that day, that did not live rent free inside my head, you know? And again, I think like we do have to continuously battle those types of situations because if you think of the pie chart once again, you know, those little slivers of daily moments that give us anxiety, they can add up eventually, taking up rent inside of our head that over time can really add up and cause some serious mental issues. So the whole point of this video is to, you know, to check ourselves and to see what areas of my life am I allowing to daily live rent free inside my head that I have already signed off on. Like, ah, I'm okay with that living inside my head. Whereas, you know, it really shouldn't. And we gotta reclaim it, take it back, you know. Anyway, that's all I got. Peace.